Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet a true broadcasting legend. The great Monty Cook is in the studio. He's been on the air every morning on WBAP since 1997. Incredible. His incredible journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, let me tell you how my day begins. I begin with KLIF at 6 a.m., and I listen to them for about an hour, and then I tune over to WBAP, and I listen to Monty Cook for the next couple hours. And this guy is a broadcast legend. He has wit, he has humor, he can be serious and tell the serious stories. The great Monty Cook, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. This is a lot of fun already.
Well, I was so impressed because when I were preparing for the show, I asked you what was your first broadcast job.
Yeah.
And you were 13 years old?
Yeah, I was 13 years old. I actually started doing some sort of craziness when I was a little kid. I always got in trouble. I was always a class clown. And when I was 13 years old, my dad worked for Garland Pee Wee football, and their PA announcer didn't show up. And he's like, "You're such a ham. Why don't you just get up there and call the games for the day?" And I did. I called all these football games for Pee Wee football. And then at the end of the day, he was furious with me because I didn't go up and do them. And I was like, "Dad, that was me the whole day." And he was like, "Really?" Wow. And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Not bad." And for my dad to say that was like incredible because my dad really never gave me a lot of compliments. And so I was like, cool. And so I kept doing that. When I got into high school, I would call high school games. You know, I was always... I always wanted to be behind, or in front of a microphone or in front of a camera. Yeah. And then I realized that I had this face, and I thought, okay, a microphone will be fine. But I've done television in Dallas for a while. I've done radio for many, many years.
Well, you have a very distinctive voice. Have you always gotten compliments on your voice?
Yeah, I get compliments a lot. In my first radio job I got because of my voice. My first radio job was actually in Gatesville, Texas, and I had gotten out of the Army, and one of my professors there at Central Texas College was like, "Hey, I've got a radio station in Gatesville. Do you want to come work for me? You got a terrific voice." And I said, "Sure." Yeah. And so I went to work for him for a while. And it was one of those trial by fire things where, like, the first day he's like, "Okay, when you're done on the air, we're going to go climb to the top of the tower and fix the transmitter. And then I want you to go sell advertising space." And I was like, okay. And like, I didn't know how to do any of that. I was still kind of a kid, but I did it all. And so that gig lasted until I moved back up to Dallas. And the last thing I ever did there, I knew I was about to leave anyway. There was a junior stock show. It was 5 days. And it was literally 5 minutes every hour that I had to come in and do interviews with people. Well, at the beginning, it was easy because everyone was like, "Ooh, cool, it's a radio guy, we'll talk to him." By the end of it, no one wanted to talk to me. So my last bit, I was wandering around trying to get people to talk to me, and nobody would. And so I'm like, I got to do something. I'm going live in like 30 seconds. So I walked up next to a cow, and I did an interview next to the cow. And of course, I spoke for the cow because, granted, like, cows can't talk. Everybody knows that. And so I basically would ask the cow a question, and then I would just go, "Whoa." And when I got back to the studio, my boss, Max is his name, he said, "Monty, don't ever do that again." I said, "I won't. I'm leaving here tomorrow."
Well,
but
you mentioned your military career.
Yeah.
We have a picture of you, so you proudly served our country in the Army.
That's my mom pinning my, she's pinning my rank on me there at Fort Benning, Georgia. That's when I graduated from infantry school. And I spent 3 years in the infantry. I was in from 1990 to 1993. They had this little dust up overseas called the Gulf War. And so they sent me over there for about 7 months.
Tell me, how did that experience shape you?
Honestly, it matured me. I know that's hard to believe because I'm really not all that mature, but I was I was a mullet wearing Metallica t-shirt wearing kid. And I'd like to have fun. I took too long to get out of high school, all the stuff that people do when they're not really taking things serious. And that experience in the military was the thing that made me say, you know what, you've got to do something meaningful in your life, if you're going to make something of yourself. I didn't want to re-enlist in the Army because I'd already done that. I didn't want to work a menial job for the rest of my life, which I can't explain why I've been in broadcasting as long as I have. But what I did want to do was this. I wanted to work in broadcasting, and so I got real serious about it. I got a 4-year degree in 4 years with a 4.0.
Wow.
And before I graduated from University of North Texas, I had a job on the air at WBAP.
Wow. Let's give the audience a feeling. This is a 100-year-old station, and it's a blowtorch. You can hear it all over the place.
It's, I think, a 38-state reach, clear channel after hours, so to speak. And that's not the company, it's Cumulus. But, it's a 38-state reach station, and we celebrated our 100-year anniversary a couple of years ago, so it's probably like 102 now. It doesn't look a day over 80, by the way. It still looks great.
Is it strange, like, getting comments from Lubbock and
let me tell you something. I get hate mail from all over the country. Like, it's not just something in Dallas. When it's one thing when people from right down the road go, hey, I can't stand you. But when you get something from Idaho, you know you've done it right. But that's the really cool thing. We really do have people listening all over. And now, of course, with the advent of the interwebs, I don't know if y'all have heard of that, but it's this big thing that people do now. People we'll get emails from people in New Zealand.
Wow.
We'll get, emails from people in, Europe. We'll get emails from people all over the place. And so, like, it's really neat. And you feel like, wow, this is kind of cool that they're not just listening to us here, they're listening to us all over.
We've got some pictures from your radio career. Let's go ahead and put some of these pictures up, and you can tell us what we're looking at here.
Oh, look at that guy. Look at that ponytail. That's me and Jamie Dixon. He's the head coach of TCU men's basketball. I'm the PA announcer for TCU football and TCU men's basketball. Wow. And they had just won a game, I think, and so he came over to talk to me. That might have been the year that they ended up their first NCAA tournament. But that was me before I got a haircut. And he came over and did some. That's me with my normal goofy shirt on. This is pretty much me day in and day out.
You're known for your shirts.
I am known for my shirts. I really toned it down. My wife buys all the shirts for me. She loves them. The hair, though, unfortunately. See, there's another one. That's an alien shirt that I have. That's me and Carla Marion. We're out at WeatherCon, which is a big thing we put on every year. And Brad Barton, is a legendary weather guy, meteorologist that's on this station with us. And so we did a big event out there at the Frontiers of Flight Museum. And that's me probably just talking and not giving Carla the microphone because we want to.
All right, well, tell us about the hours, because what time do you have to wake up?
I get up every morning at 1:45, at the studio at 3. Post time is 5 o'clock in the morning. But it's not just showing up and opening a mic and talking. Yes. You get there, you pull audio, you pull stories, you find out what's going on overnight. You take some of the stories that were left for you. And you're basically just gathering all the news that you can give because, as much as I joke around, I do have a very serious job in trying to present the news and trying to present it in a way in which people will grant it at least a little bit of credence. And so when you get up at 1:45 every morning, like right now, this is like, most people would be like, this would be their evening. Most people would be watching Johnny Carson. Is he still on? But and so it's an early day and it's hard to kind of get going, but I'm so used to it. I was always an early riser going back to when I was a kid. And so that's kind of what your day is like. And then of course, as the day progresses, things continue to happen and you want to make sure you have accurate information. You want to make sure that you're giving people what they need to know about stories. I mean, you know that from your background, you got to tell a story.
Breaking news where the
all the time
morning blows up.
It happens all the time. I'll have a newscast stacked and ready to go, and I'll look at the TV and I'll go, oh, great. I've got to change everything now. But that's what we do. Yeah. And you have to be able to roll with it. And I think years of being a traffic reporter helped too, because when you're flying around in a helicopter and you fly over something and they're like 20 seconds until you go on the air, you have to be able to look at what you're doing and tell a story, paint that picture, and you may not even know where you are. You're like, what am I on, I-20? I'm on East 120. What am I doing?
Let's talk about the chemistry on the morning show, because I love the banter. It's just magical, isn't it?
I love the people that I work with. They are literally like my family, and people will say that, and then they'll walk out the door and go, oh, I really don't feel that way. Hal J is like a father to me. He's just a guy that, he is the same off the air as he is on the air. He's the most likable guy you'll ever meet. Carla's a wonderful woman. Ernie, wonderful guy. Brad Barton, it really is a super nice guy. I bust his chops a lot just because he likes it. and our producer Joseph, they all do such a wonderful job.
Well, just with a team like that, even if one person is having an off day, the other person can pick them up and add a ad lib that makes everybody laugh.
That's the great thing about it, is if one person is kind of down, or if one person is literally out because they're sick or they're just taking a vacation or whatever, there's always that next man up mentality. And so, like, if Carla's out, I'll fill in for Carla. If Ernie's out, I'll fill in for Ernie. If Hal's out, nobody can replace Hal, but I can still go on and tell jokes, and that's really what Hal is a master of. And so it doesn't matter what's going on. Like this week, Brad's out, so we're all taking turns doing weather, you know? And that's kind of how it is, but you can't pull that off if you don't have the camaraderie that we have. And I think we all love each other and admire each other and respect each other. And so what you hear on the air really is how we are.
It's beautiful.
All the time.
All right, in the final 2 minutes, let's come full circle. Why don't you talk to that 13-year-old future broadcaster? What would you tell that young person?
13-year-old Monty, you're going to do really well on the LSAT one day. Seriously, consider becoming an attorney. No, I'm just kidding. No, you know what I would tell him? I would tell him, follow your dreams, because the truth of the matter is, I really did do well on the LSAT, and I really could have become an attorney, and I really didn't want to do that. And so I think it's the old adage of, you know, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. It's still work. I mean, this isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. You've got deadlines, and you've got a lot of pressure, and you've got breaking news and everything. But I love doing what I do. And because I love doing what I do, getting up at 1:45 would be hard if I were an attorney. Getting up at 1:45 when I do what I do for a living, not that tough. And so I would tell myself, whatever it is you're thinking that you want to do it. Even the Army stuff, do all of it, you know, because it'll all make you into what you're going to be one day.
Monty, thank you so much for sharing your heart and your wisdom with us.
Thank you.
What a great
time.
Thank you. We're going to end with the bio page off of the WBAP
Look at that guy.
website. The great Monty Cook. Thanks for coming on the show.
All right.
All right, that's it for now. We'll see you next time.